Process improvement. This short video has 5 chapters. In the first chapter, we'll present a business argument for the necessity of process improvement. In the second, we'll show you how to do fundamental flowcharting. In the third, we'll show you some models of how to find the problems in processes. In the fourth, we'll talk about selecting and planning projects. And finally, in the fifth, some ideas about how you can make all of this stick. Process improvement is an example of a thinking approach that improves business performance. This chart shows that improved business performance comes from improved decisions and behaviors. These improved decisions and behaviors come from improved insights and ideas, which comes from improved thinking. Process improvement is one fundamental thinking approach that significantly improves an organization's performance. Woe be to the company or organization that thinks they're past all this. Process is how everything gets done every day, done well and done poorly. The fundamental notion here is that every organization has waste in their processes, how they conduct their activities, in every activity of their business, inside and outside their facility. Some companies claim that they're okay. They don't really need to work on process improvement because they're profitable. This is like someone saying with a leaky pail that they're filling the pail faster than it's leaking. Quality pioneer Joseph Duran provides the following classic argument for process improvement. Company's goal is to generate more profit dollars, more extra money at the end of the year. Let's imagine that they make $50 million a year and they earn 5% profit or $2.5 million a year. They want to double their profit dollars. One strategy would be to increase capital and headcount to increase the size and capacity of the organization to reach this goal. Current system is capable of generating X and they want 2X, they need twice the revenue. In other words, $100 million in revenues. But they would have to subtract the cost to double the organization's capability, so in fact they would need even more revenues. Another strategy would be to target the 10 to 30% of an organization's revenue being spent on generating waste. This waste is often hiding in their company's processes. Here they would maintain the size of the organization but deliberately improve its capability by improving its processes. To earn an additional $2.5 million, they would have to improve their processes only 5.3%, $2.5 million on $47.5 million operating costs. Improving their processes only 10% would earn $4.7 million extra profit dollars without extra headcount or additional capital in many areas. So let's now talk about processes. And looking at this flow chart, what we're representing is a macro view, a large-scale view of a company. Each box represents many activities, many processes that occur at a number of spots within this macro flow chart. Some within the supplier's company, some within our company, and some in our customers' facilities. I have listed here some of the most helpful observations about process. Helpful ways to think about processes. Many of the disappointments that you're currently experiencing in your work are endpoints in current processes. The disappointments are indications of current process capability. The underlying causes need to be understood and controlled to improve the process. Active pursuit and elimination of waste is very, very profitable. In trying to improve a process, it's very important that in the first version, you really try to describe how things are actually happening. You want to find out what's really going on. Process improvement done well helps you see things you haven't seen before. You will also want to be aware of checkpoints. Here, a lagging checkpoint asks whether or not we're ready to ship. The leading checkpoint asks if everything is okay so far. Good processes have these checkpoints where they can prevent the problems. If I prevent the problems, I prevent the waste. To document your process, it's very helpful to use flip charts and post-its. Then assemble a team that likely knows the process best. Determine the frame or boundaries. What's the first step and the last step? Determine the steps in the process, preferably with nouns and verbs. Sequence the steps in the correct order. Draw the flowchart using appropriate symbols if this is helpful. Test the flowchart for completeness by really taking it out to the workplace and following the process as you're looking at the chart. And then finalize the flowchart. Here is an example of what your finalized flowchart might look like. A flowchart documents cause and effect. In trying to improve a process, we're trying to find the cause that is giving us the effect that we don't like. We're surrounded by cause and effect in everything we do on this planet. Process improvement provides an effective way to identify the causes that are giving us the effects that we don't like. To find the troublesome root causes, use an effective process. Accept that the problems being addressed are often chronic because we have not asked the right questions. The right questions answered with data help us find the root cause. An effective improvement process is a sequence of great questions. Here is a list of 3 alternative improvement strategies, 3 different kinds of improvement processes. All of these include a disciplined sequence of questions that help us to identify the root causes. The most fundamental is driven by what's called a PDCA wheel: plan, do, check, act. This drove about a decade of TQM work around the planet. Each of these 4 steps would then have a number of questions that, answered, would provide the data to help you identify the possible root cause. A more recent version of an improvement process is called Six Sigma. Primary notion here is what gets measured gets done. You break the process down into opportunities for disappointment. Then you measure how often you get disappointed with that process. So, for example, if I have 1 million opportunities within a variety of processes to cause a disappointment, and I only have 4 defects in that million opportunities, I'm at a Six Sigma level. In older jargon, 99% quality is actually 10,000 defects per million opportunities. Not acceptable in this day and age. A third process improvement strategy is called Lean. Invented at Toyota, really provides a taxonomy for the questions. It helps us to understand what waste looks like in 7 different forms. Employees learning to identify this waste and eliminating it all contributes to improving processes and making lots of money go to the bottom line by eliminating the waste. This improvement can only occur when leaders and employees learn to think and act differently about waste. What does it look like? Where is it hiding? How can we reduce it? How can we maintain the new processes? What can we do today to get started? One very helpful exercise to help you practice both flowcharting and finding waste is available in my Michigan Business News Good Thinking article series. Go to the April 16th, 2007 edition and look for the article titled Hows of Quality. This will help you put together a flowchart, put together a scoreboard, and then use the scoreboard to identify where the waste is in that process. It is a very interactive team exercise. Let's now spend a few minutes talking about selecting and planning projects. It's very helpful in creating your flowchart to look at the problem as the endpoint in a flowchart. So here the problem is in step E, and we're trying to find out the contributing steps, step A or B or C or D. We think that the possible root cause may be hiding in those steps. Then, comparing our flowchart at the top of this diagram with our organization chart below it, trying to find the individuals in the organizations that know step A, step B, step C, step D, step E the best. And you'll notice that the diagonal box that includes the experts is the team that preferably I can assemble to try to find the possible root cause that's causing the problem in step E. This is a cross-functional process improvement team. I encourage my leadership teams to think about the processes that they're assigning to the teams just like stocks. And what they're trying to do is identify the processes that provide predictable yield improvements that translate into hefty increases on the bottom line. And so in closing, let's consider one company that's been exceptionally successful in improving their processes. Billions of dollars of cash have gone to their bottom line by having their leaders develop a process of improvement that all the employees can use to identify and eliminate waste in all of the processes in their organization in a controlled and disciplined manner. Mr. Cho, chairman of Toyota, reads, "Brilliant process management is our strategy. We get brilliant results from average people managing brilliant processes. We observe that our competitors often get average or worse results from brilliant people managing broken processes." To learn more about these approaches, please visit my article series at Michigan Business News. Their website is mybiz.com. Open up the front page, look up at the top at columns, and look for Good Thinking. You're also welcome to write or call and ask to get onto the newsletter. You may also attend either public or on-site seminars that cover these topics. Or you may wish to visit my website, johncanfield.com. Or please call 616-392-2634. Thank you for listening.